Going live here, 12:20 a.m. Eastern Time, and I just read the news. Tito Ortiz, the UFC Hall of Famer, defeated former WWE champion Alberto El Patron at 3 minutes and 10 seconds of the first round in round one via submission, rear naked choke for their Combate Americas fight. We knew this would be a quick victory. Juventud Guerrera, who I did a shoot interview with last night, said, and this is his opinion, he said Alberto is not a real legitimate MMA fighter and it won't go out of the first round. So Juventud was right. And there you go. The finish everyone expected. Now the interesting part is how many people actually bought the pay-per-view. We know that Oscar De La Hoya's MMA company actually was one and done. They had the Ortiz versus Liddell fight last November, and they went out of business right after that. From what I understand, they're no longer in business. I actually interviewed Tito Ortiz about a week or so after that fight, by the way, if anyone wants to look up Tito Ortiz full shoot interview, the Hannibal TV. So one thing I will give Alberto El Patron credit for, you went in there with a UFC Hall of Famer that's still at the top of his career. I know you were paid well for that, but that takes a lot of guts. So I commend Alberto El Patron for that. So other than that, in wrestling news, there's not much wrestling news going on today, guys. So when I know more, I'll let it know. I guess the only thing, and it's hardly relevant, is that MLW announced that they had released Teddy Hart, who has wrestled for Great North Wrestling, most recently against the Blood Hunter. And they had hired this ACH guy that recently quit WWE after WWE put out a shirt that he felt was racist. Not everyone felt that it was racist. But basically, MLW announced they hired this guy, and now today, apparently, it's out in the news that he doesn't want to be a wrestler and he's retired from professional wrestling. So this guy, he was saying some pretty wacky stuff after he quit WWE. So this is another erratic decision. Why couldn't I ever get a job with any of these companies after wrestling since 2001 against what independent wrestler today has feuded with Abdullah the Butcher, wrestled Kevin Nash, worked with Terry Funk, Lanny Poffo, Honky Tonk Man, Brutus Beefcake, Kamala, AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Ted Hart, TJ Wilson. The list goes on and on. Ricky Banderas. I've wrestled so many, and I can't even get a tryout with any of the contracted companies. But this ACH guy, who doesn't seem like, he seems legitimately crazy, he's getting contracts. That makes no sense to me. Someone on here is saying that Tito came out to Real American and had Trump 2020 on his shorts. Tito gave a WWE title belt to his sons after the fight. So thank you, the Bahana and Mike Markup or Mike Marup, for that bit of news. Jimmy Afopiano says, just watch the Shane Douglas interview, which is up now at patreon.com/the Hannibal TV. And he said it was great. He said, great job. Thank you, Jimmy. I also conducted a Juventud Guerrera interview last night. I'm editing the Hillbilly Jim interview right now. It will be on patreon.com/the Hannibal TV next week. I still have the Snitsky interview to edit. In January, I'm interviewing Sabu and Kevin Sullivan again. Son Grove says, obviously, Tito's trying to get in WWE then. Well, Tank has said he's always wanted to be in WWE, and Tito himself told me in that shoot interview he did with me last year, he wanted to be in WWE, and he said no company other than WWE, not New Japan even. So Zachary Zeram just tipped me $2 and says this channel is awesome. Love the content. Well, thank you very much for the $2. I appreciate it. Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot for commenting.